Hi everyone and welcome to the next episode of Meme TV, where we'll be discussing the future of 3D printing. Today we're joined by Nick Godfrey, the Director of Central Scanning. Hello, welcome Nick.
Hello, hi.
Hello, how are you today?
I'm good, thanks, thank you. And you?
I'm very good, thank you. So, Central Scanning has been a member of Made in the Midlands for quite some time. Tell us more about the company first.
Okay, yeah, we're primarily a 3D scanning and 3D printing company. We're authorised resellers for Zeiss 3D scanners and Artec 3D scanners, and we also offer a full sales service and 3D printing and 3D scanning service to a large variety of customers in the UK, and we're established in 2006.
Okay, so 3D printing has been growing in popularity, especially in the manufacturing industry. So can you tell us, as an expert in the industry, what is the main benefit of using 3D printing?
Yeah, when we started 3D printing, we got involved about 4 years ago. A lot of the customers that we had were prototyping, so everything was seen as being a nice model to look at, but you couldn't do anything with it.
Yeah.
It was very fragile, dimensionally wasn't very good. What we're seeing now is we're getting a lot more customers looking to use models for actual live tooling for prototype projects and production tooling. We supply a lot of clients with end tooling 3D prints in ABS plastics and nylons, quite a lot of different materials that we use. And then what we also have is the full colour 3D printing, and that's moved heavily into the animation game, product development kind of market. So we're seeing that the spread of use is growing all the time.
Fantastic. So in your opinion, where can you see the technology progressing in the future for 3D printing?
I think what we're all looking for, and I think it is coming, is speed. It's 3D printing, even though it's rapid prototyping, it still takes a long time to 3D print. There's different speeds and grades of printers, but often someone will come in and they want something printed. They think they can do it while they wait, but in reality a print can take a few hours. But what we are getting is something that's much faster than any other traditional method of making it, and the cost for a 3D print can also be cheaper if the application is right.
Okay, right. So is there any real competitive advantage in 3D printing?
Yeah, the two benefits that customers have for us, well, the three really, is speed. Frequently we can print a part, and if someone drops a model off, we can print it overnight, which kind of contradicts what I said a minute ago about not printing in an hour. But if we can print something overnight, they can be working on some other parts of the tooling.
Okay.
The cost of the models is often cheaper, as long as you're not looking for big batches of parts. That's when it can not be as cost effective. But we do supply some very effective prints, and a lot of the customers that we're using are using prints because they're avoiding tooling costs. But then we also supply tooling manufacturers to do low volume prototyping before they go into mass production.
Okay, right. So how would you say, how accessible is that for Midlands manufacturers, the 3D printing technology?
I think in terms of accessibility, I mean, there's a lot more of us now. Bureaus doing the work. We personally have 6 3D printers, all different shapes and sizes of objects we can print. The equipment itself is coming down in price. I mean, you can buy printers for several hundreds of pounds, and you can spend, up to £400,000 or £500,000. So depending on the size of the company, but it is becoming more and more affordable. There's a lot more companies out there now with 3D printers. We offer the service because a lot of the companies may only want 1 or 2 parts done every few months, so we can fulfil that. If they then want more parts, we facilitate the sale of the printer through one of the partners we work with.
Okay, right, that's interesting. And finally, can you tell us what was the coolest thing that you've managed to 3D print?
I think for us, we've done some work with children's prosthetic hands, and that's a kind of a nice print to do. We've done some work with maxillofacial kind of work as well, where people have been affected in certain ways, and we've 3D printed parts that are used. There's obviously the stories of NASA. I mean, they're 3D printing in space, but probably one of the big ones for me is I met someone once who was using 3D printing. Their son was having a lot of operations on his face, and what they were doing was CT scanning the head, 3D printing a complete model of his skull, and then using that information to learn from and practice the operation before they actually operated on him. And that for me was a kind of a real interesting application for it. And then on top of that, for us, it's a lot of the tooling we do. Seeing the end use of the tooling in the car plants and the manufacturers is always a nice way of seeing a true life application for it.
It is indeed fascinating
So
stuff.
it's an interesting technology, really.
It is. It is very fascinating stuff, Nick. So we look forward to seeing more progress from central scanning and from 3D printing technologies. Thank you very much for watching today's episode of MIM TV. Goodbye.